Good day, everybody. Meteorologist Mark Molnar here. Thank you for joining me for this edition of Special Tropical Edition of Weather Eastern. We're watching Invest 94L. This is the system that we're watching in the Atlantic that could become our next named storm. It would be Tropical Storm Bonnie as it approaches the Lesser Antilles, the Caribbean, and we'll see which direction it's going to head, how strong it could become, and we'll break down all the model data for you. We're also watching a new system in the north central Gulf of Mexico. This could potentially become a system later on in the week. It could affect the western Gulf of Mexico with heavy rain and wind. We'll see where that's going and how strong that could get. Still dealing with Celia in the eastern Pacific and a new area behind Celia in the eastern Pacific that could become our next named storm over there. And if that weren't enough, and across the northeast later Sunday into early Monday, we're dealing with those heavy thunderstorms in the northeast with flash flooding potential isolated. There's that system in the western Gulf of Mexico this week. We'll be dealing with pretty much throughout the entire week, and strong to severe thunderstorms over the next couple days across the Midwest. Let's get into it. So there we go. There's Invest 94L. And there's that area of disturbed weather out ahead of Invest 94L that we'll continue to watch on the models. And north central Gulf of Mexico, there's that system. And there's another big system coming off the Cape Verde Islands here, another tropical wave behind it. So you can see we're lining things up here. And there's a big area of disturbed weather here, although I don't think that has any chance of development. And if that weren't enough, Eastern Pacific, we're also watching this area as well. There we go, the tropics. So things are getting really busy here. I think there's a 90% chance we will probably most likely see the tropical depression and possibly tropical storm Bonnie out of this, especially towards Wednesday as we approach the Lesser Antilles, the southern island chain here, and then heading towards the southern part of the Caribbean here. So this is Invest 94L is a big deal here. Also across the northwestern Gulf is this north-central Gulf of Mexico system pinwheels towards the southwest. I think we got about a 25% chance this week of this developing, so we'll take a look at the models on this as well. In the Eastern Pacific, another area of about 25%. Let's get into the modeling. At the intensity model forecast, look at what's happened over the last 24 to 48 hours. As we get towards Monday into Tuesday, probably a tropical depression, then a tropical storm. Models have been trending upwards here on the intensity scale, possibly becoming a Category 1 hurricane by the end of the week as we approach the Western Caribbean. All right, so let's take a look at the modeling affecting Invest 94L in that system in the Northern Gulf. You can see the wind barbs here in the Northern Gulf, kind of a cyclonic flow right here around southeastern Louisiana. But we still have Invest 94L waiting out here. You can start to see the winds increasing here in time. And look at here across the Northern Gulf. There's that center of circulation. This is later Monday into early Tuesday. There is Invest 94L. It's interesting to note there's another area of disturbed weather ahead of Invest 94L that we'll continue to watch. Nothing really of interest there. But the GFS kind of does do a little something with that. But look at, there's that system in the northwestern Gulf. There's a system in the Eastern Pacific. There's the disturbance ahead of Invest 94L, and there is Invest 94L pretty far to the south here, but you can see a lot of the higher winds are displaced a little bit farther to the north here. As we go in time, you can see that system across the northwestern Gulf kind of pinwheels towards South Texas. There is that area of disturbed weather ahead of Invest 94L, and there's the Invest 94L system. And pushes through the Lesser Antilles on Wednesday, so Wednesday is your day. And it looks like a tropical system behind it potentially here with the GFS. Disturbed weather continues here across the northwestern Gulf, so we'll have to watch that. You can see high pressure is building further west, which should help keep these systems more towards the northwest. But you notice there is two high pressures, so this one is going to want to try a tendency to move towards the northwest here. So as we go throughout time, you can see we're still dealing with Invest 94L by this time, definitely a named storm, but it's arcing towards Central America. There's that next system towards the U.S. Virgin Islands. As we head towards July 4th weekend, there it is, Sunday, July 3rd. There's something interesting at the last couple frames here. You see the GFS brings us to a hurricane bearing down on Central America. So this 976 millibar at landfall, and then re-emerging and heading towards the coastline of Belize by Monday morning, July 4th. And look at this. High pressure continues to build further to the west here. This should keep the system heading more on the outer periphery of this high pressure here to the northwest. And as you can see, re-emerging it into the southern Gulf. All right, so let's take a look at the Euro. So there's that area of disturbed weather in the Eastern Pacific, north central Gulf, pretty much the same location as the GFS. And look at all this down here. That's right ahead of Invest 94L. So let's put this into motion. Still showing the system, just like the GFS in the Northern Gulf. There's that system in the Eastern Pacific. And there is Invest 94L, a little bit further to the north than the GFS had it. As we go throughout time, Tuesday, the Euro has the system in the Northwestern Gulf a little bit closer to Houston and Galveston here. There's Invest 94L. There's that disturbance ahead of Invest 94L and that system into the Eastern Pacific. We've got a lot to watch here. Showing the high a little bit further to the north east here as well. So let's continue to put this into motion towards Wednesday. There it is. Wednesday's your day, definitely here for the Lesser Antilles. There's that heavier wind band moving through the northern side of the system, just along the South American coastline here. There's another disturbance there in the Eastern Pacific, and there's that disturbance out ahead of Invest 94L. We'll have to see how this interacts with Invest 94L, whether it has any impacts. And there's the system in the Northwestern Gulf, bringing it kind of like the GFS Wednesday towards South Texas. This would feed moisture into much of eastern, southeastern coastline of Texas here. As we continue throughout the day on Thursday, look at this. This system showing a pretty large expanse here to its north, so it's kind of going to be a little lopsided, which can be expected. It'll probably bring in, a little bit of dry air to the south of it here. But look at this as we continue in motion here. This is interesting. This wasn't on the last Euro frame, but look at this. There, it's showing what the GFS was showing towards Friday of this week. That system, potential open wave at this point, but, it's showing a little weaker than the GFS was. But look at that. Euro's keeping the system landfalling in Central America weaker and further south. What does that mean for the Eastern Pacific? Yeah, it's bringing it into the Eastern Pacific, and we could have a named storm out of it. That is pretty interesting. And let's just get to the last few frames here. Look at the high pressure. Just like the GFS is building it further west here. And there's that system. The Euro holds on to this system a bit longer than the GFS does, and there's what's left of what could be of Bonnie by that point. All right, so just to round this all off, the CMC, I know a lot of you don't follow this for the tropical, tropics here, but there's, the disturbance ahead of Invest 94L there. There is this system in the north central Gulf, southeastern Louisiana. As we head throughout time here, it's interesting the CMC has come more in line with the GFS and the Euro. It is, wow, it does intensify Invest 94L a bit quicker, though, before the Lesser Antilles, Tuesday into Wednesday. Look at that. Let's just back that up a frame. Yeah, that looks pretty formidable as it moves through. It's a strong tropical storm by the time it reaches the Lesser Antilles. There's that system in the Northwest Gulf, a broad low-pressure system, and then the Eastern Pacific. We're dealing with that system that has a chance to develop. But look at this as we head throughout the rest of Wednesday, skipping it just north of the coastline of South America here. So strengthening is likely according to the CMC. There's that system in the Northwest Gulf. It's pretty good bet if you live along coastal Texas. You're going to have quite a rainy scenario this week. I'll get into those rainfall totals with you in just a bit, but look at this as we head throughout the day on Thursday. This brings it into the Southern Caribbean, as do most of the other models, major models as well, and then brings it, this is interesting, it does just like the GFS, only it's a bit further south, so it doesn't recurve it more towards the northwest. It brings it in as a 986 millibar low, which is a pretty strong area, so potentially bringing it close to hurricane strength maybe. And then look at this. It brings it into the Eastern Pacific. Interesting. All right, so sea surface temperature anomalies, that area in the north central Gulf of Mexico, the only reason, that we have maybe a slight chance of this developing is look at these high sea surface content anomalies here across the north central Gulf. So it will be over very warm waters. There is lots of warm water here out ahead of Invest 94L as well. And things have started to moderate a bit here across the central part of the Caribbean as well, where Invest 94L is likely to occur. And look at this here, where Invest 94L is about to move over the next couple days, higher than average sea surface content temperatures. But look at here across the Eastern Pacific. Even though we have all that development, it's been stirring up and upwelling all this colder water. As we take a look at that area of disturbed weather in the north central Gulf, here it is. So it's got a lot of showers and thunderstorms with it, I'll give it that, but you don't see this low level circulation quite there as of yet. But you got a lot of showers and thunderstorms to the north and northeast. You see, look at this flow here across Florida. That's definitely some upper level wind shear, but this system's going to be sliding towards the southwest here. And as we take a look at the water vapor loop, you see quite a moist atmosphere here. There is some dry air just to the east here. There also is some dry air just to the southwest of the system, so we'll have to see if any of that gets entrained into it. Lots of dry air here over Texas as well. But at the moment, I think this system, has the ability to continue to hold its own and head to the southwest here. So the water vapor loop for the entire Atlantic, there is the area of dry air, but it's way north of the intertropical convergence zone. You can see as all these pinwheel across the west. There's that system on the north central Gulf of Mexico. We are watching another disturbed area here. And there's that area of disturbed weather out ahead of Invest 94L that we'll be watching, but I don't think it has any chance of development. There is Invest 94L itself. That's a big area. It's got a lot going for it here. All right, so we're starting with the NAM 3 kilometer here to kind of model this system here across the south. Thankfully, we're in that time range where we can use the mesoscale. Here is the showers and thunderstorm activity across southeastern Louisiana, southern Mississippi. And if we head throughout time, we're going to get throughout the evening hours here. We get towards 10 p.m. Sunday evening. So this is where we have, the area showers and thunderstorms, the potential circulation here. And as we head throughout the night, take a look at this. Midnight tonight, 2 a.m., early Monday morning, and there it is. See, you start to get some of this shower and thunderstorm development just offshore here. This is associated with that tropical disturbance. And as we continue throughout the day on Monday, so we're getting, look at this, 7 a.m., look what's going on here. You get an explosion of showers and thunderstorm development here. And as we continue to head throughout the day, 10 a.m., look at that. And it starts to progress a little bit more towards the southwest. So you're still getting showers and thunderstorms here along the coast. They're not as heavy, though, as offshore. And the consensus is this is going to continue to slide towards the southwest. We get into Monday, 6 p.m. here. So here we go. This is associated more on land here with another disturbance. So this is the overall circulation here we're looking at of this potential disturbance. It doesn't have the greatest thing going for it, but it is going to be over warm waters. And if these thunderstorms, you can kind of start to make out some sort of a system here. And look at this. On 10 p.m. Monday evening, we get a resurgence of showers and thunderstorms, even some cells developing here around Houston. So we're going to have to watch this. This could end up being a big, heavy rainmaker, and I'll get into those rainfall totals momentarily here. But as we head throughout the night, Monday night into Tuesday, we start to see some of the heavier showers and thunderstorms getting into the Houston area. We still have some areas back towards New Orleans and Baton Rouge, too. But we're going to start to see some problems here around the Houston area. As we get towards 5 a.m. Tuesday morning, they're pushing a little bit further west, so they remain a little bit more progressive. But you start to see, did you notice that? There is a cyclonic flow going on here. So there, it's right down in here. So you start to see the system really start to take a full effect here. So as we continue to put this into motion, see, there it is. Tuesday afternoon, and then showers and thunderstorms continuing into Tuesday evening here. So you start to get this area of heavy rain developing along and just inland of the coast here. All right, so taking a look at potential precipitation out of this storm, take a look at what could potentially happen here as we go throughout time. So, throughout most of the week, it's going to be in this area. So you got generalized 1 to 3 inch amounts, especially here towards the red zones. You're getting up towards 2.5, 3.5 inches. Now, if this system really starts to slow down and strengthen, this is what we could be looking at towards, the weekend, 4th of July weekend. This is 13 inches right here. These are some of the outliers, but take a look at that. That's anywhere from like a solid, the yellow solid 4 all the way up towards, 8, 10 inches of rain here. So this is something we need to really keep an eye on as this system heads west and it starts to slow down. All right, so here's the GFS. We're getting into right around this week, most of this week. We're getting, you know, anywhere from 2, 3 towards 4 inches of rain here. Southern Louisiana, just south of Houston here. And then towards the weekend, 4th of July weekend, it keeps, unlike the Euro, it keeps the heaviest rain just off the coastline. So it saves these areas. This is a little bit more in line with the NAM 3 kilometer as it heads throughout the week, a little bit more towards the west-southwest. So the Euro is a little bit further to the north. So we'll keep an eye on it for southern and eastern Texas here. It's going to be close. All right, so as we head throughout the rest of Sunday evening here across the Northeast, you're dealing with all of this shower and thunderstorm activity. You can see as we head towards midnight, you can see most of these storms are not making it east of this line here. So that is good news for you, although that's not great news for people in southeastern New England here, where you're starting to, especially these areas of Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and eastern Connecticut are really getting into a real dry spell here. But this keeps, you know, throughout the night, we get some of these heavier cells that could produce some gusty winds and some heavy rains, maybe some isolated flash flooding. And up here in the Adirondacks, the eastern Catskills, we're getting towards, you know, sunrise here. And that pushes a little bit further to the east, but we don't really get, you know, the heavy rains that we need. We're getting a little bit in here at just after sunrise, and then another line, you know, just behind it here. But, you know, as we head throughout the day on Monday, we're starting to get some of these linear lines. So some of these might work into these drought-ridden areas of southeastern New England. We'll have to keep an eye on it. Definitely getting some gully washers up here in parts of Maine, you know, as we head afternoon here. So, yeah, we start to get what could be a soaking rain and some embedded thunderstorms here in southeastern New England, Long Island, down into eastern New Jersey. But by this point, it is clearing out here across most of the Northeast. We do have some storms firing down towards southeastern Virginia and Delmarva Peninsula here as well. But none of these are going to be severe. They're just going to bring some beneficial rains as we head throughout the afternoon and evening. We're just starting to clear Cape Cod here, and then this high pressure back to the west builds in pretty much for the rest of the week, and then we start to heat it up later in the week. All right, so taking a look at rainfall at least through early Monday morning. Here we go. I'm going to stop the slider here. This is mostly Sunday evening, Sunday night. You can see some of these heavier gully washers could be on the order of 1 to 2, locally higher 3 inches. And some of these heavier where the rainfall, you know, from the thunderstorms, slow-moving thunderstorms, training thunderstorms, mainly east of Interstate 81 in New York and Pennsylvania. Then we get a little bit of a lull in the action, maybe up to a 1/10 to 1/4 inch in the Catskills and Poconos early Monday morning before we get a pickup here. Look at this, southeastern New England. This could be a little bit of a drought buster, not completely busting the drought, but putting a little bit of a dent, you know, so to speak. Look at this, upwards of 1 inch to 1.5 inches in parts of southeastern Connecticut, Rhode Island, and into southeastern Massachusetts, and some rainfall out here on Long Island as well, and into parts of southern New Jersey. So this could be some beneficial rains. Unfortunately, Boston, it looks like you're just on the northern fringe, so maybe upwards of 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch, but that's still good. You know, this is anything to get rid of some of this drought. You can see the drier areas right in here in the Hudson Valley, Catskills, Poconos, up towards the Adirondacks, and look at this, a hole here in the nation's capital, Baltimore. You'd just be around, you know, this is later Monday afternoon down towards the Tidewater and into parts of Delmarva. All right, so Monday with the heat wave, it's definitely alive out west and in the deep south. We're just a little bit cooler than we have been, and cooling here in the 70s across the Northeast. But as we head throughout the week, you can see we're just going to get an area of really scorching heat across the Central Plains. That's going to break off and slowly head throughout the east throughout the week. Still holding into the 70s in the Northeast. But look at this. Here we go. Hundreds across South Dakota, Nebraska. This is all going to be heading east towards 4th of July weekend. Take a look as we head into Thursday. The heat is on east of the Continental Divide here. We're starting to get warm up in the Northeast as well, into the upper 80s. And as we head towards Friday here, some of you have wow, look at that. An early start to the July 4th weekend holiday. We're getting into the 90s in the Northeast as this heat pushes from the south here. Extended outlook, hometown viewers, upper Susquehanna River Valley from Binghamton to Scranton, Monday through Friday. Look at this. We'll have to deal with some showers and thunderstorms, mainly before 10 a.m. on Monday. It'll amount to 10th to a quarter inch on average, but that'll be pushing out. Mostly sunny skies, clearing throughout the day, 75, 73 on Tuesday. Overnight lows dropping down into the 40s Tuesday morning and Wednesday morning. But look at that. We quickly warm it up, and by Friday, we'll be seeing highs right around 90 degrees. Thank you for joining me for this edition of Weather Eastern. Hurricane Outlook 2022, link in the description down below. Visit me on Facebook at MediaMark, also Weather Northeastern, also Hurricane Northeastern, also at Susquehanna Weather. If you're in my localized region from Binghamton to Scranton, MediaMark.com, WeatherNortheastern.com. Also, don't forget Twitter at Weather Eastern, and question or comment down below. I love to read your questions or comments. Let's get the weather conversation going. Smash that like button, subscribe, hit the bell button.